I'm Jennifer Fairbanks, and I am the Passionate Patternmaker. And today's episode, we are with Lily Fong. Thank you for being with us today. I didn't mess up that time.
Pressure's on.
Yeah. So, and if you may see me kind of moving my arm back and forth, it's because I am petting a cat that has decided to sit in my lap. So, just so you guys are aware, you're like, what is she doing? Like she's petting something. So I kind of wanted to say, we've hung out a lot and I know a little bit about your history and kind of how you got started. But we're going to make this all about you. So I would love to know your story.
Thanks. I guess my story isn't really that unusual. They say, what's that saying? Necessity is the mother of all invention, and me becoming a bra maker came out of necessity. I was essentially nursing my second kid, and it was towards the end, and I knew I had to get back into regular bras soon. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna, go and get fitted because who knows what size I am anymore. I had my kids fairly close together, so I, at that point, had not worn an underwire bra in about 5 years. So like, okay, yeah, let's do this properly. Let's go get fitted. And I got fitted, and they put me in a bra, and it was not doing it for me. I mean, it kind of fit. It wasn't extremely uncomfortable, but I was just, there's just got to be something better. And did spend some time online just doing research, and I eventually come across somebody, a very purple person, her blog, one of the early days, and I found that she had made her own bra from scratch using a pattern. I was like, wait, this had never even been on my radar. This is not even considering. I'm like, I have sewing experience. I've been sewing for over like 25, 30 years at that point. And I'm like, why am I buying retail bras and adjusting them to either my band size or my fit requirements when I can just make one from scratch? It didn't make sense to me. And so that kind of launched everything. Just that need for something more comfortable that didn't leave very angry marks on your body. That lasted, God, it was like 6 months for it to go away.
Yeah, no, I still struggle to wear underwire bras because, I put on a lot of weight after having my kids. And so nothing really fit the same way. Like, I think I was an F cup before I got pregnant, and I'm now like a J or an M or something
Yep.
way up that I can't even measure properly. So, I know I'm like, 14 to 18 inches across, depending on how I measure and how I hold. So,
Right. Yep.
That's really kind of how I got started. But I kind of got started in making the patterns for these sports bras because I knew that's what was comfortable for me. But the underwire ones, I actually started making those before, when everything fit me properly. And it was more of like, it was a nice big challenge for me, which is kind of how I got started. But I did the sports bra out of necessity, like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did you have any formal training at all? Did you take any classes?
I did. And the funny thing about that is when I wasn't planning on launching sewing patterns when I started, I literally was like, I think I got your book, and then I saw the sloper in the back. I'm like, oh, let me play with it. Let me play with the slopers. I felt like, oh, this is the intention of sloper, for us to kind of maybe try out new ideas and kind of test our skills. I'm like, let me play with the sloper and see what I can do. And, I eventually made something, and then I put it on, and I posted on the little Facebook groups that's on there specific to, lingerie making. And then a couple of people were like, are you going to turn that into a pattern? And I was like, wait, to sell? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this, again, did not come across my radar initially. And I thought about, that might be like a really good idea. And so I sought formal education classes and all of that. And you know what? It is extremely, extremely difficult to find anything for larger sizes because, me being me, I decided to write a business plan for this. I have a degree in business. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to do all of this proper. I'm going to have a right business plan. I have my target market, my focuses, and all of that. So I had a fairly clear vision of what I wanted to do and who I wanted, the demographic I wanted to serve. But trying to find any sort of class, education, or book focused on larger cups was near impossible. It, it was so bad. And I was very fortunate. I was lucky to find somebody, but that particular course was geared towards professionals within industry. It was meant to be, I think, like continuing education for people who are already in that job. And I was like, I really want to learn this. So I emailed, the professor, and I was like, I really want to learn this. Do I even have the skill to take this class? Even though I'm not the target demographic, but I am familiar with pattern drafting and I'm very comfortable with Illustrator. And he's like, absolutely, go ahead. And so that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
and
yeah,
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 and over the course of the different editions I've done, you probably noticed if you saw the first edition, saw the second one, saw the third one, as I got bigger, after having my kid, I actually had to make revisions because what I taught in the first book, well, it no longer worked for me. What I did in the second book didn't work for me. And so, the third one, I tried to encompass as much as possible, but of course, I even developed it more after that. And so I just kind of did a bunch of guides. And I do have hopes to do a fourth edition, although I was joking with Lisha last week when I was doing her interview about how the book is probably going to be twice the size if I do that. I'm like, I don't want to scare people away. I was like, but maybe a second book is required. We'll see. But there's so much information. It's really hard to cover it all. And you really can't cover it all. The only thing you can really cover is saying, okay, with this type of situation, we can correct this way. And, I know there's so many people that are, they're like, oh, which pattern fits best? And it's like, that is so subjective. I was like, if you're an A cup, maybe you can find something that fits, but then not really, because A cups are small and likely the cups have too much volume. So there's really no one size fits all bra, despite what some of these Facebook ads are going to try and tell you. They're like, this fits everybody. And I'm like, looking at the pictures, I was like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of going back to kind of the revisions and constantly kind of updating our own knowledge and also our books and whatever that we produce in our courses. It's not everybody understands, I guess, the reason behind it. Just the information available to, say, professionals within the industry, who literally work within the lingerie industry and draft and grade on a regular basis. There is a lot of gatekeeping. They do not share that information. So a lot of times we are discovering things on our own without kind of any hand holding from industry professionals, right? So that's number one. But number two, again, retail industry is geared towards a certain shape, a certain size range. And those of us, Jennifer and I in particular, when we decide to go beyond that, okay, we're on our own. Like, you can't, let's just say you are able to find someone who has, 30, 50 years of knowledge within the industry. Can they tell you something about, can they tell you anything about a particular shape that the company does not cater to? Probably not a whole lot, so we're kind of left to our own devices, experiments, and kind of creating our own path. And so, yeah, our knowledge does kind of change and grow over the years.
Yeah, no, and actually, speaking of that, I have a customer which we've actually already looked at her pattern together, and I actually have some more pictures I need to send to you to get some feedback. So
Okay.
everybody know that we don't always do things completely on our own. We do work with other people to help figure out issues. I've gone to Lily at least once or twice a year and say something's wrong, like I can't figure it out, and she's like, oh, well, why don't you do this and this? I was like, duh.
And then sometimes she's like, no, I don't like that rule. I'm going to try my way. I'm like, okay, you go break some barriers again.
Absolutely. Break the glass ceiling.
Yep. But I think that's probably one of my favorite aspects about our little bra making community. Just that, you and I, on a first name basis, I can call up Monica and ask for help. I can call up Maddie and ask for help. Hey, what do you think about this? And, am I completely off base? That sort of thing. And it's just, we're just so open to talk and discuss. I mean, yeah, sometimes business, sometimes design, and just not, I guess, not so siloed in our own little world, you know?
Yeah. I think we need to have a retreat that's just all of us experts just
The
going
teachers and
and
designers.
exactly forget the
Yeah.
students. Just let's just do a retreat just for us, and then maybe we'll film it so people can watch, but maybe not, because we like to be able to talk about things that other people might not be interested in.
Right, right. It's like, let's get into all the nitty gritty, like technical details. What?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we've got a great little community, and I've loved kind of, what, the last retreat with you and Maddie, the three of us, I think we got along really well, and it's just like
Yeah,
we just bounced off each other. And I'm really
yeah,
excited about working with Lisha and Cassie too.
yeah,
I actually got to learn a lot more about them in my interviews with them, and I was like, wow, I was like, I didn't know that. I was like, let's just hang out.
yes, absolutely.
Well, as I know, I'm going to be hanging out with you in February when I come for the
Right.
Doctor Who convention.
Yeah.
So, and then I know that we had chatted about possibly coming in the fall. So we'll have to look. I don't know if that's going to happen. I actually have a visitor coming in 2 weeks.
Yes.
I know, I'm really excited. Lindsay, because I don't know if she's shared with a few people, because she's now got her own pattern company, and she's been sending me
Mhm.
pictures. She's like, this is so much fun. I was like, but you're a lawyer. I was like, you already have a full-time job.
Oh my gosh. Yes. But working with Lindsay, because she came out for one of my workshops, like I'm like, okay, first of all, like you squeezed in my workshop between travels. Like she literally came from Europe, I think went home for a day and then flew out to meet with me. But I mean, she is just go, go, go. I mean, we made so many versions, and it's just like, okay, here's one. Yes, no, okay, make these changes. And then she was just on to next and just constantly moving, go, go, go. I'm like, oh my gosh, her and Maddie would get along fantastic. Well, actually, they do get
They
along
do, yeah.
fantastic because she went to go visit Maddie. Like this is Lindsay's year of visiting all the designers. She was like Maddie, she was with me, she was with you next. It's like, well, who else is next?
Yeah, she was like, I told her, I was like, you've got this new pattern coming, or you're doing this pattern. And this is before I think she even settled, like had made it 100% that she was buying it. I was like, well, why don't you come out? We'll film a tutorial. We'll film a course for your pattern. And she's like, okay. She's like, even if we don't do that, I'm still coming. I was like, okay. She's like, I have some time, paid time off. She's like, I'll just book it.
There you
So,
go.
so yeah, looking forward to that. We'll, yeah, I'm looking at my disaster of a sewing room off to my left right now.
Before she arrives.
Well, what's even hard right now is because I have all that stuff, not even part of the stuff that I got from Alabama is sitting in bags that I've spent time packaging all over the floor of that room. So, because I have no place to put it, I don't know.
Yeah, I
where
was
it's gonna
wondering, like, where
go.
was the overflow going?
I have 2 storage units.
Oh, right.
But I'm trying to pull all of that stuff out of the storage unit because
Right.
when we came down, our trucks were overloaded, so we had to offload about 4,000 pounds in Pensacola. And so David is
Oh.
going up in not this weekend but next weekend. He's flying up there, getting another U-Haul truck to bring back the last 4,000. So I have to clear out enough space in these storage units so all that stuff will fit. So, and that's all thread. It's all cone thread.
Okay.
All of it. So if you need cone thread, I have a lot of it. Every color you can imagine. So what is the next pattern you're working on? Are you taking a break, tiny little break between this new release?
I am taking a little break. I'm trying to uh kind of arrange my schedule, like my annual schedule, a little bit better. Where say the the Q1 and Q2, the first half of the year is more focused on patterns and pattern releases, and then the second half of the year is more towards education, social media. Oh, right, and I need to start recording. That's what I have. The other thing on my list is I had to start recording my online courses for this year. So I have a couple of different new topics for this year, and I'll be working on those. So basically, all the tech stuff on the second half of the year, and then on like the raw pattern stuff and lingerie stuff in the first half of the year. Just kind of uh, apportion my time a little bit better. But also, I do find that releases near holidays don't tend to do as well. I don't know if that's the case for everybody else, but yeah, so I'm trying to avoid that this time.
Yeah, I've kind of had, I don't know, I don't do anything really complicated around the holidays because, yeah, I don't expect them to be big. I think what I've done the last couple Christmases around December, January, were things that were personal projects that I just decided to expand. Um, but yeah, it's trying to find the balance. I'm trying to be better about it. Actually, I found a local, well, she's local now. A young woman came in and she wanted to start volunteering over in my sewing studio because she is from Colombia and she's learning English. Well, she knows English, but she's trying to improve upon her English because she doesn't understand the terminology that's used in the US for the same fashions, but she's a pattern maker.
Right.
And so I'm kind of hoping, and actually that's probably her texting me right now because I texted her a little while ago that I actually want to bring her in to help do some little pattern type projects. I'm like, someone local, like it's
Right.
hard enough finding someone that can help you in general, like with the
Mhm.
pattern making, especially if they're far away. But if she's local and she's wanting to do this, it makes it awesome because I can sit there right with her and say, yes, this
Right.
works, this doesn't work. But we'll see. She's waiting to hear back if she got a job as a bilingual customer service rep at a bank. So not what she wants to do, but it's a good job. So this would be, I know the pattern making is something that she definitely wants to do, but she's got to do what makes sense for her.
The day job and the side gig, right? The
Mm-hmm.
fun one and then the one that pays the bills. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that's what you got to do.
And she's young, so she's at least 10, 15 years younger than me, so she's got that energy to do that. Like me, I'm checked out at 3:00. I'm like, really, I can't do anything else. It's like I pick up the kid and it's like, okay. And I have an after school program I do on Mondays. Oh, we had so much fun yesterday. But it's exhausting. Like, I work with I'm only working with 3 kids. And we actually did draping knit draping because all of their designs that they're working on are knit garments. So we did some knit draping on the dress forms that are all in their size. But yeah, I was totally wiped afterwards. And then Emily had to go to do an acting thing afterwards. So my Monday, it's like I have my after school from 3:45 to 5:15. 6:00 we have to drive across town so she can do her acting thing for 2 hours. So David and I have turned that 2-hour block of time into Margarita Mondays. There's a little place down the street. They have 2-for-1 margaritas. And it is perfect. He drives. We pick up my car the next day because I was like, I'm going to be safe. But yeah, it's nice to be able to kind of step away from the house and just be able to, I feel like we never get to talk anymore. Even just talk about, just the different things we're doing, like with business wise too. It's like you can't really get stuff done when you're at the house, you're around it all the time. It's like you really need to get away to talk about it. Like even here, it's like, yes, we're talking, but I see stuff over here. I see stuff back there that my brain's like, oh, I should be doing that and not be on this call.
Right.
So it's a nice little break, but Mondays are absolutely insane. But yeah, usually after 3, I'm like, no, can't do it. Like, not for me.
That's my Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. I have 3 kids. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of chauffeuring them around to different events and whatnot. My oldest is, he just started middle school this year. And so now I'm like, okay, you can ride your bike and go do it yourself. Like, it's Friday, go hang out with your friends. Go take your bike and go hang out with your friends. Come back, dinner time or so. Like, you're good. It's okay. Just go. I'm
Emily, I think Emily's the same age as him.
Yeah, they
Because
are. Yeah.
but yeah, getting her independence. So there's not many kids in the neighborhood. That's the only thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Wish there were
They
more.
Yeah. I've been actually trying to slow down just because I can't continue like the crazy hours because all the kids have all these activities and handling a lot of house stuff during the day. I end up staying till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning drafting, especially if you're in a group. Jennifer, you know how it is. You're in a
Mhm.
group, you're like, yes, I got it. You just keep going, like, yeah, it's midnight. Oh, just a little bit longer. And it's like 2 o'clock was around. I really need to get to bed. I really need to get to bed. I gotta get up at 7 in the morning and like get the kids ready for school. Like that's not, yeah.
That hasn't
So
happened in a while, I can tell
yeah, it's
you.
like that. I can't do it anymore. I'm like, no, I need my sleep. I function better. The kids are happier because mommy is not crazy anymore.
Mhm. Well, and I also, I've got my self-care that I factor in. I go to the chiropractor, I go get massages, get
Yeah.
pedicures, some of that stuff I take my kid to. So, but yeah, no, burning the candle at both ends. And you're like, well, Jennifer, you've got like 3 businesses. How do you do it? I don't know.
I know.
It's called I have employees. Like, it's, yeah, employees is a whole other thing. Like,
Yes.
as much as I really wish I didn't have to have employees, I actually feel like I get more done, like
Mm,
personally. Like I don't
yeah.
feel like I have that weight on my chest. Like you got to be doing this, but you should be doing this day. I just hired someone to kind of help us with some of the day to day. Right now, they're working on doing some photos. They're creeping in, trying to be really quiet, not to make a whole bunch of noise. Um, but they're going to head over and do some photos that I have been needing to get done for, God, probably 8 years. Um, so these things that they're photographing right now were the first products I put on Amazon when I started
Mm,
selling on there 10 years ago. And so the photos are really, really bad. They're out of focus. They were on like a different background that I had to use a space age tool to kind of remove the backgrounds. And, technologies have changed a lot. But if you still go to Amazon, you'll see these really bad photos of my hardware. And so I'm really hoping that this is going to improve those listings. And I still sell them despite the really bad photos, which is, interesting, but, you know, who knows? So yeah, being able to pass some of it on to other people is definitely helpful. But yeah, doing it all yourself. And I know it's like, we can do it. And then like, a week goes by and say, oh, I didn't do it.
right.
But
It's that was fortunately a lesson that I learned from an old boss. Like, you know, she basically said that, technically, yeah, I can do everything that you guys are doing right now. Or I can figure out how to do it if I don't know. Or I can pay a professional to get it done in maybe half the time, right? And then I can spend my time doing other stuff that I might be better at or that I may enjoy more. I'm like, I like this theory. It's not that we can't do it, but it's the whole time versus money, right? And so it's like, well, if I can work on something else that might be a little bit more fulfilling or generate income, then it's worth it.
yeah. I took a small business class last year. And it was actually for like growing businesses that have been around for 2 years or longer. So it wasn't
Mhm.
really like, oh, this is how you incorporate. It was more like, okay, so now you've been doing this. Are you doing everything you want to do? And they
Right.
had us sit down and make a list and like, okay, write down everything that you do in your business. Write your name next to the ones of the stuff you want to do. And then can you pass the other things on to somebody else? And it was kind of, I have to do that at least twice a year because I always end up picking up more of the stuff I didn't want to do, or
Mm-hmm.
because I've tackled some stuff, I realize there's actually more I should be doing. And so more things get added to that list. But trying to find someone who can kind of come in and pick up those other things, because if it's falls on me, first of all, I'm going to stare at it and say, I don't want to do it for 4 hours when I could be doing something else. Like, I'll sit at it, I'll stare, and I'll be like, okay, let's see, what are people talking about on Facebook? And go on there and say, oh, but I really should be doing that. I'll flip back over there. Oh, do I have any emails? And 4 hours later, nothing is done. And I've wasted time. So I'm like, I'd rather just pay someone like a couple hours to do that. And then I don't waste 4 hours not doing anything. So I know you've been really busy. I haven't had a chance to really kind of catch up with you lately, between your new pattern and everything else.
I know. It's like when I chat with Ruhi, like we schedule things like a month in advance. I was like, okay, we haven't chatted for a while. Let's get something on the calendar. It's like a month later. Okay, we got something in. But yeah, it's just surviving because I'm still handling kind of like the shipping, and I'm doing some design, but the type A in me,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, one of like, oh my gosh, trying to hold yourself back from tinkering with stuff that's already done, right? Does that really need to be edited right this second, right? Does that font need to change? Does that color need to change? Do we need to swap out this image? So guilty every time. Like, oh, maybe this photo is better for this part instead of the other one. And you literally spend like an hour on it. And it's like, I don't know if that was really, worth the time and effort to swap it out. And it's like, the listing is done. Why am I focused on changing something? It's the whole, if it's not broke, like, it's not fix it and sort of thing. Wait, was it? Don't fix what ain't broke. There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, was it? But it's just at the same time, like, well, can these changes improve things, right? The whole being on YouTube for the first time and being able to have different thumbnails. You have thumbnail A and thumbnail B, and then let's try two different options and see which one's more effective. And sometimes it works. This one was much more effective, and sometimes it comes back inconclusive. Why did I just spend all that time making different versions to see which one was better?
You went down the rabbit hole. And once you start
I
down that
did.
rabbit hole, it's like you can't stop. You just keep falling.
Oh God, I know. Just give me something to hang on to.
But, as an artist, any form of artist, we're never 100% happy with what we've done. There's always something we can improve. So you just have to say, that's it. And kind of walk away and step aside and say, hey, that's it. No more. I'm not going to make any more changes. Yeah, I've been working on my robe pattern, and I think I've got it. Like, I'm now kind of really happy with the way it looks. And so I'm going to do one more complete sample. And I was debating on whether I was going to try and throw it into 3D and see what it looks like on. I was like, no, I need to see it on a person. Like, I need to see it sewn and on a person so I can really see how the fabric lays in that direction. And then I want to play around with how it's constructed. That's where I want to spend my time, just doing that.
For a robe, I would absolutely throw it in 3D, just because it's so much fabric. It's not hard to sew, right? It's not a lot of seams, but it is a lot of fabric.
Oh no, there's a lot of seams.
Oh, there is. Oh, right. Yeah. You went over and beyond again.
Yes. I mean, if you want, I can send you the pattern pieces and you can throw it in 3D.
I'm not sure that my 3D skills are, that I'm not at Trudy's level. Well, Trudy is just like done. I'm like, woman.
But you know who is actually getting really good? Lindsay. Lindsay will be here in 2 weeks. I can have her throw it into Clo 3D and see what it looks like.
She just started.
Yeah.
She just started. So she went like deep dive into it, because I remember when Trudy went that, and she got through Clo 3D, realized she loved it, and literally like lived and breathed that program for several months. Because I want to say we started like discovering and like thinking about playing with Clo 3D around the same time. And then, I got busy. And so that fell off my radar. And I checked in with her a couple months later, and she was like light years ahead of me. I'm like, okay, like, yeah,
Yeah, she was
let
doing
me
the
just,
trainings on Udemy at that point. Like,
yeah, she like, and she, because she loves it, and she just spent like, went in all in, and she's gotten so good at it. And I keep, and I'm like, I don't need to get to that level. Like,
mhm.
I'm not there. Like, I mostly want the fit to be there. Like, but I like the idea of being able to kind of have different poses and have little walks and stuff like that. But at the same time, I can't stare at the screen for like 3, 4, 5 hours anymore that long. Like, I need to take a break. I mean, one of the reasons I really liked kind of like my paper cups
Mhm.
is that it gets me away from the screen. Like, however, it just pen and paper and taping it together just gives me that little bit of a break. Just because I know in the past I literally like lived 12 hours in front of a screen. Like, I can't do that anymore. Pay
No.
too much for the eyes, okay? LASIK was not cheap, guys.
Yeah, no, I hear that. But yeah, no, I want to make another sample, but I have things all over my cutting table besides that. So
Oh, see,
it's
more reason to throw in a 3D because I don't have to clean it.
I don't know. But
The I like let's see, when I did the stuff for So Daily, I depended heavily on the 3D stuff just because it was a bunch of patterns in a very short amount of time. But they were also wanted standard sizing. Standard sizing I can do in 3D really, really well and really easy because all the avatars just standard torso shape and bodies and projections and all that stuff, and you just pop them on. And I loved being able to, what does it look like in size 2? Make sure the grading is size 16. Make sure his grading is good in size 22. And you just click, 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 click. Oh gosh, it's the grading is good, or oh my gosh, we need to fix that because that was definitely not how it's supposed to be looking. But I loved that, being able to do that. And unfortunately with bras, it didn't go well for me when I tried to do the same thing just because I don't really focus on like the standard size sets. And so it was just trying to customize avatars to the measurements and the shape and the projection that we need it to be. And it was like, oh, I felt like I
yeah,
spent more time trying to get the avatars to fit the particular body measurements. And then you can try to put the bra on.
yeah, and that's where I quit. Like I was trying to create the avatar. I was playing with avatars. I was like, okay, well, this one kind of has more proportions, and this one has the measurements that I want. And then I was like, no. I'm like, I got too flustered. I put it down. I'm like, maybe when I have time again, between all the different businesses I run, because guess what I'm doing after we get Emily from school today? I'm painting a
What?
mural on the inside wall.
You, you know what I just asked my husband yesterday? I was like, I want to reupholster a chair. He's like, what? As creatives.
Yeah. Well, we brought the projector in and we actually projected the logo for Soap and Ellis up on the wall, and so we traced it
Nice.
off. So it's already traced off, and we have they're doing an article. We're actually having an interview on Thursday, and I was like, well, I want to have this completely done, so it looks really good for it. I was like, plus it's got like a selfie. It's a selfie wall, so anytime we take pictures, you'll see it
Oh,
across
yes,
anything. So
yes.
we don't
Perfect.
necessarily have to start tagging the photos, like, writing on it says, hey, this is Soap and
Right.
Ellis. It'll actually just say it on the wall.
Right, right.
So we
No, that
traced it
sounds
off.
great.
So yeah, I told Emily she's got to help me paint that today. Although she wants
God,
to go
I
to the
want to do it.
library first. Well, come on out. Come on, it's only 10 to 12 hours to get here.
I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. But yeah, wasn't that hard. I mean, we projected it, and we'll have to see
No.
how it goes for the painting. I don't know if I have paintbrushes. That might be another trip to Lowe's or Home Depot to get
Yep.
some paintbrushes.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, all the stuffs, lots of stuffs. What are you most excited about for the spring retreat?
Uh, it's hard to pinpoint, just because the retreats. okay, the people is who go, and the experience, the interaction is so fantastic. And both of us were on online teaching classes and big online conventions, sewing related sort of things. But it's a different vibe when it's in person. You feed off of each other's energy, and just being able to kind of see them interact with each other, and like their little heads butt together, like, oh, what about this? And oh, did you get this? Oh, I need help. Oh, no, I got you. I got you. Let me help you with this. And just keep seeing that interaction with each other, as well as our interaction as teachers. But that's just kind of one thing about working live that it's really hard to replicate on an online platform. But the projects, just having the spring retreat, full lingerie repertoire. Okay, your entire, not wardrobe, but what's the word I'm looking
Capsule.
for?
Well, it's a capsule
Yes, it's a
collection.
lingerie capsule collection. You've got, all of your base layers. You've got the robes. You've got, all of these things. I'm so excited about, guys, just because I feel like a lot of times that being able to walk away with a full capsule collection after retreat is just, hey, I've got this thing. I can mix and match. I can wear it for a bunch of different things for all different occasions, different weather, right? And depending on what fabrics that you're making it out of, I feel like it just kind of adds to the whole experience. It's not just, oh, I made one or two little things. Like, no, it's a whole range, right?
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to coming and picking out some fabrics in LA. I think it'll be fun.
Ew.
Have to do a
Like,
little shopping
any
together like we did last
I
time.
know, I know. I'm like, what are we leaning towards fabric wise?
Well, and now I have all of those new fabrics. So a lot of the fabrics I got are like that stabilized tricot that I have, but
Mm-hmm.
it's softer. It's a little bit
Oh,
softer, but it's the stuff that we use for sampling and bras. So, and I have tons of colors now. So I'm
mhm.
really excited. And there's all sorts of like nude colors, not just one nude color. I've got like 20 nude colors,
Oh my god.
all the way from pink to brown. So, and everything in between. So I'm looking forward to it.
It,
Yes, I know that we had such a great group at the spring retreat last year. Even just some of the attendees, like their energy, just it made it. Like it was. I
yeah.
really hope Brenda comes again. Brenda, if you're watching this, we want you to come. We loved you. You made the entire week. Like it was so much fun having you there. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was. Not just the energy between the teachers, between the three of us, like definitely the attendees helped fill that in.
Yeah.
And I loved
Yes.
how, they were helpful with Alice, who actually was still a beginner who took the course.
Oh my gosh, I still can't believe she did that.
And we
Her
still
first.
can't find the busk. The busk is still gone and missing.
Right. Yeah. Oh, half of the bus went missing during class one day. We were still not able to find it, and so luckily we had an extra, and so she was able to continue her project. But yeah, it's been what, more than 6 months. I think I said 6 months. It'll pop back up, so that obviously didn't happen. But the no kudos to Alice, who she has never made lingerie before, signed up for this, and her very first bra project was my strapless underwire bra project. And so she went from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds flat. Amazing. But yeah, it just wonderful group of people, great personalities, great interaction. And it's just, I also really liked the large variety of projects that we had, right? So we've got the corset, you had the dress, you had the strapless bra, the wireless bra, you've got something comfy, you've got something dressy, a little bit of everything, which was like really nice as well.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be. I'm definitely looking forward to the spring. Like I might want to. We may have to trade off and uh, I'll make one, or at least pick a pattern and make one after hours. I think we'll be too tired after hours. Um, but yeah, I want to make my own set besides the one I'm just teaching. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. I still haven't finished mine.
Mm. It's coming. We have time. We have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But and then after that, we also have our fall retreat, which I'm
Mhm.
super excited about. Have you started planning your vacation yet? No.
No.
It's now less than a year. It is now officially less than a year. So that means that plane tickets are actually now on sale. Like you can actually buy them up to a year in advance. So definitely put it on your
Right, right,
radar
right.
to start looking for
And the
discounts of it.
prices. Yeah, yeah.
I also, for you and I think Bodil, I need to let you guys know that I was able to extend our reservation in the front by 1 day. So we
Oh, okay.
actually can come in like 2 days before. So
And
you
prep.
actually have
Okay.
time to rest and
Yeah.
relax. I
Okay.
didn't think of that when I was planning it. And I was like, oh, yeah, we'll fly in. I'm like, but no one's really planning to just fly in and teach the next day. I don't think any of us. We're planning to come in probably a week before and actually
Okay.
see more of the area. Either go to Ireland or go more to England, and then we'll be over there. I think that puts us in around on the 1st. So I think like Labor Day, we'll actually be
Okay.
able to get in. So we can actually get in and kind of regroup and kind of make sure that we got all ducks in a row before everyone else starts arriving.
You do bring up a good point. It's a shorter flight for you. It's a longer flight for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I might need that extra day because yeah,
Well,
it's
you might need to plan a vacation a couple
there's
days.
that, there's that. But I was mostly thinking it's like okay, if it's probably what a 12-hour flight I think over to Europe if I recall correctly, from California. Um, yeah, so might need a little time to recover.
Yeah, and actually, so I remember Emma actually was mentioning this, that I believe it was Emma who mentioned it, that the airports that are not the main hubs are cheaper to
Uh-huh.
fly through. So if you
Oh,
find a
okay.
cheap flight into, like, say, London Heathrow and go spend a day in
Uh-huh.
London, go
Right.
to one of the smaller airports to fly
Right.
out from to get to
Okay.
Scotland because it's super cheap. Like it's a
Okay.
lot cheaper to do that as opposed to going from, let's say, London Heathrow to Edinburgh. So
Gotcha.
that could be a lot more expensive. But yeah, the little
Okay.
ones, and it's about an 8-hour train ride from London over to Scotland. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
if you wanted to do that, it's not a quick, oh, we'll pop over in a couple hours. No, it's like an 8-hour train ride.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, if they have the night train, that's not a bad idea because then you can just sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I
Hmm.
traveled Europe. As we did the
The
Euro
Eurail,
rail,
yeah.
but we
Yeah.
did the overnight. So we actually didn't
Yeah.
have to have a hotel. We just had the sleeper cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that might be a good idea. And I'm assuming it's going in the underground the tunnel, right? From London Heathrow. Yeah, over. I don't know. I'll have to consider it. I had to start researching.
But yeah, we have not started planning our trip, but I'm definitely want to start doing that. And I really want to start planning my 2026, but I am trying not to. I was like, no, because if I pull my focus away from what we're doing this year, I don't want people to say, oh, I'm going to wait till 2026 to do it, because I want them to come next year.
Wait until after the spring retreat. Okay, then you can start 2026.
We will wait until after we sell all of the spaces to announce our 2026. So, because I don't want someone to say, oh, well, I'm not going to sign up for that one now because I want to do that one instead.
Right, right.
Fear of missing out, a little FOMO.
Yes.
You think is there anything you would like to cover and talk about? Is that a robe behind you?
Oh yeah, this is oh, I didn't make this one.
Oh.
This is one I bought for oh, I guess we can talk about what's underneath though, because I believe someone has a frock test coming up.
Yes.
So this is actually the bottom half of my frock tails outfit from earlier this
Nice.
year. And then the top half, the top half was I think it was a just plain chemise, but the main draw was the leather corset with the octopus on it,
Nice.
because my Frogtails event was literary themed, and I went in as the Kraken from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So I had a three-dimensional octopus on my corset.
Very cool. Yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to make and wear for Maddie's down in Fort Lauderdale that I'm going to be the guest of honor.
Woohoo!
So I'm looking forward to that. I think I can probably get a pretty inexpensive flight down there. There's these new airlines that fly within Florida that it's like
Right.
$50 to go from one place to the next. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, nice.
That or be in the car for 8 hours, and I really don't want to do that. Or 7 hours.
No.
However long it is. I don't like to drive that long. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been a great conversation, and we will chat again soon.
Yes. Till next time.
Bye. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. For more information on the Spring 2025 Lingerie Retreat, go to lingerieretreat.com.